Once you understand the nicotine trap, then you'll see that all the reasons for smoking are illusions. You'll realise that far from being miserable as a non-smoker, you'll actually enjoy social occasions more and handle stress better. The whole object of this exercise is for you to enjoy being a non-smoker from the moment you quit. But first, you need to understand more about drug addiction. Which of these drugs do you think is most addictive? Alcohol? Cannabis? Cocaine? Heroin? Crack? No. The nicotine contained in tobacco is the most addictive drug known to mankind. The good news is that although nicotine is highly addictive, the physical withdrawal is very slight. So slight, in fact, that most smokers don't even recognise it as a drug addiction. There's no physical pain. In fact, it's identical to the feeling of a hunger for food and to the feeling caused by normal stress. But even heavy smokers can go for long periods without smoking and scarcely even be aware of it, on planes, for example. And it's not strong enough to wake you up at night. What's more, it gets no worse when you stop. Smokers think of withdrawal as the trauma they suffer when they try to quit by using willpower. But that's not physical, that's mental, and Easy Way removes it even before you extinguish your final cigarette. Nicotine is the colourless, oily compound contained in tobacco that addicts smokers. It's a deadly poison, and it's sold commercially as an insecticide. If you were to inject the nicotine content of just one cigarette into a vein, it would kill you. Every puff on a cigarette delivers to the brain via the lungs a small dose of nicotine that acts faster than a dose of heroin injected into a vein. Nicotine is a quick-acting drug, and levels in the bloodstream fall by about 50% 2 hours after extinguishing a cigarette. This is why most smokers average about 20 a day. As nicotine leaves the body, you experience an empty, insecure feeling, a tenseness or edginess, which I'll refer to as the itch. Smokers believe they only suffer withdrawal symptoms when they try to quit. On the contrary, they suffer them all their smoking lives. Just as we only know hunger for food as I want or need to eat, so we only know the itch as I want or need a cigarette. Most smokers can remember their first cigarette was foul. But by smoking that cigarette, you have now put a highly addictive drug into your body, and a disagreeable little character takes up residence inside you. Let's call it the little monster. This is the first of several factors that reduce a smoker's level of well-being throughout their lives. Here's a barometer showing your well-being. When you're having a great day, you're up here. When it's a terrible day, you're down here. Let's assume that when you smoke your very first cigarette, you're having a good day. Once you extinguish the cigarette, you start to experience the itch, an almost imperceptible, empty, insecure feeling, which smokers only know as, I need something to do with my hands, or I want or need a cigarette. This is in fact nicotine withdrawal. It's the little monster inside your body demanding to be fed. And your well-being drops to a lower level. If you light another cigarette within that withdrawal period, the empty, insecure feeling is immediately replaced by a feeling of satisfaction and confidence. This is not an illusion. You will actually feel more relaxed or less stressed than you did a moment before, because you have now replaced the nicotine and fed the little monster. Your level of well-being will immediately go up. The second cigarette tastes just as foul as the first, and you'll remain convinced that you could never get hooked. But you've taken the bait. What you've actually enjoyed is trying to get back to the level of well-being you had as a non-smoker. This simple confidence trick is what hooks all smokers. You may have noticed that the smoker never quite reaches the level they were at before they started smoking. This is because nicotine is a powerful drug and a poison. Our bodies build an immunity to both. Immunity is a two-edged sword. It helps protect you from the poisonous effects, but it also means that the nicotine withdrawal is only partially relieved even when you smoke a cigarette. And the empty, insecure feeling is never completely removed. So even when you're smoking a cigarette, you actually feel more nervous and less relaxed than when you were a non-smoker. That's why, although your conscious brain knows that you should smoke less and less, the tendency is to smoke more and more. After you finish the cigarette, the level of nicotine in your body falls again, and the little monster soon demands another fix. And so it goes on and on and on. This process simply repeats itself. The only reason any smoker lights a cigarette is to feed that little monster and try to relieve the aggravation caused by the previous cigarette. It's like wearing tight shoes just to get the pleasure of taking them off. There are several reasons why smokers find it difficult to see it like this. Remember, the empty feeling is indistinguishable from hunger and normal stress, and is almost imperceptible. There's no physical pain whatsoever. Our brain is therefore fooled into believing that the empty feeling is caused by the stresses of life, whereas in fact it's caused by the withdrawal from the previous cigarette. We only know the feeling as I want or need a cigarette. The moment we light up, we do immediately feel more relaxed, less stressed, and better able to concentrate. So the cigarette gets the credit for relieving the feeling, but not the blame for causing it in the first place.